Hello YouTube, I am Chocobobutt and I am here with Nerd Caliber at PAX East. We are here today asking cosplayers the important question, what was the saddest moment they had playing a video game? And obviously we got some good inspiration right here at the Square Enix booth.
Definitely when Dom died in Gears of War.
Any reason why?
Because I really liked Dom as a character. I also liked Carmine as a character, but many of them died, so I can't really choose.
The very beginning of The Last of Us. I'm not going to spoil anything, but playing that, yeah, it got to me. It's a fantastic game.
Definitely the ping when it reaches 500 because you're doing really, really well, and then all of a sudden the ping's just like, boop, and then you end up dying, and it's pretty sad.
That is really sad.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing really well and you got a really good kill streak. Yeah, no, it's not fun.
The saddest moment in video games that I can think of off the top of my head is the beginning of The Last of Us. When you first have that introduction at the beginning of the outbreak and Joel loses his daughter. I think that it tore me apart because I wasn't expecting things to get that heavy that quickly. And it did an amazing job setting the tone for the rest of the game.
And what about your saddest moment?
For me, as a child, seeing Zero offer his life for Mega Man and Mega Man X has stayed true to the saddest moment in my 27 years of living.
Mine was probably Titan. I had a really slow computer and I could not avoid the AoEs, and I would always get shoved off of the edge. So I usually completed the fight at the bottom of the cliff and my teammates carried me.
And what about yours?
So for mine is also from Final Fantasy XIV, where they implemented a patch where you can now know the health of your boss to the 0.1%. So instead of wiping at 1%, now we can wipe at 0.1%, and it feels extra sad.
I mean, that's obviously when the console dies.
Any console in particular?
Recently, my PS4's fan wet the bed.
Oh no.
So it would overheat on moments from turning it on. So I had to get a brand new one.
And what about your saddest moment?
For me, it was my desktop. This was about 8 years ago. It suffered from a very, very horrible malware attack. I managed to clear it, but at that point it already made its way to my memory sticks, and about a week later, that's when it just straight up died. And the sad part is that's when I started finding out about XP tan. And I'm like, I just killed my XP tan.
So what is your saddest moment in video games?
When I'm done.
I like that. What about yours?
Bad dialogue at a really emotional scene. For example, Kingdom Hearts, who else will I have ice cream with?
Oh man, anytime that dog meat gets hurt when you're playing Fallout, it's just so sad. I love dogs, and it's just awful.
I also love dogs, so I feel that.
It'll be Final Fantasy VII, the death of Avis. I cried so much.
Do you think you're going to cry again for the remake?
It looks so beautiful, so yes, definitely. Big tears.
Well, I play League, so it's Summoner's Rift. When a game is over an hour long, you almost win, you're hitting the last hit on the Nexus, get wiped, and then you lose.
My saddest moment was in Final Fantasy VIII, where I've been trying to grind for the Doom Train card, but the bartender never played it, despite me beating him over an hour at Triple Triad. I still don't have it.
More or less the entirety of Mother 3, but especially Chapter 6.
And why Chapter 6?
The entire chapter lasts about 5 minutes, but it's Lucas seeing the ghost of his mother and trying to reunite with her.
And what is your saddest moment?
Oh god, spending more than 8 hours trying to get to Night Terror in Soul Calibur 3 and then absolutely failing at the last minute.
Dying in Fallout on survival mode.
Any reason why? Was it was very hard, or?
I'm really bad at survival mode, yet I persist and I try, and I've since given up, and I will never try again, probably.
It was probably when I beat the original Link to the Past, and for whatever reason it just emotionally got to me. It was the first video game I'd ever beaten all the way through.
I think my saddest moment is Kingdom Hearts 1. At the very end, when Sora and Kairi are being ripped apart and you just never know if they're going to see each other ever again.
We still don't know. And what is your saddest moment?
No, I'm struggling to think. Could you think of the name of the game? No?
Okay, there's this video game that at the end you have to choose between the life of your best friend and like letting a storm flood the whole town, killing everyone else you know. And it's an impossible choice. And you basically lose no matter what. And I cried. I cried and cried.
I hope I'm not stealing yours, but it's when Aerith died.
And Cloud?
It's the same thing. It's the only time I ever cried in a video game.
You can't get any sadder than that.
So I think the saddest moment in a game I played is when you try really hard to win, you're very optimistic, things are going extremely, extremely well. And then say like 45 minutes, 50 minutes into a competitive game, one little small mistake makes everything downhill. And at that point, you realize there's no coming back, and it's just super sad and frustrating, for me at least.
So in Mass Effect 3, when you have to choose whether or not to kill Mordin Solus to cure the Krogan genophage, and he gets really, really upset at you, and he screams like, "No, it has to be me. No one else would have gotten it right." Like, God, I like bald. Legit. Like, it was so sad.
Probably even the middle part of Nier Automata, where just people start, no spoilers, but people start dying and passing away, and it's just like this intense culmination of like character arcs that have been building up for hours and hours and hours, and then just like leading to this like eventual payoff that really makes a good story in the end to really show the finality of the death of characters.
First time playing Dark Souls, I ended up losing like 100,000 souls, and then to try to get it back, I fell off a cliff like right away, so I shut the game off for like a few days, and it was pretty sad.
That's very understandable. I hope you haven't played any of their other ones since.
Yeah, I just rage quit Sekiro for like 9 months, and I'm playing that again now. So, yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
So I used to play a game called Star Ocean. I think it was the third installment. And in that game, you met characters as you progressed through the different planets and levels. But you had to like do very specific things on different missions so that they would be your friend and come with you. And I remember when I left like the first half of the story, because you go somewhere else, I had like done something wrong, and like the character I was not going for showed up and was like, "I'm on your party now." And the one I was like going for, like I must have done something messed up, and they were just gone for the rest of the game. So I was like, "Oh no." So I think I restarted after that just so I could get like the party I wanted for the end of it.
And what was your saddest moment?
Well, this is going to age me, but it was Star Fox 64. I had finished a really, really difficult part. I can't remember who was chasing me, and I finally beat it after trying like 15 times. And then I put down my controller and went, "Yeah!" And then I immediately crashed into the planet. And I lost, and I was like, I have to do this a 16th time. It was awful.
It's a little bit of toss-up, but I think far and away it's when Mortis died in Mass Effect 2 to try and undo the mistakes of the genophage. It was so heartbreaking, and just frame by frame, him getting to that control booth while he's about to die, it was just devastating.
When I can't beat a boss battle, and I look up like the tutorial and I watch a YouTube video and I still can't beat the boss no matter what.
That was me with Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts. And what was your saddest?
Unfortunately, spoiler warning, it was when you died. Yeah, I was very sad when that happened.
And what was yours?
When you go through a long dungeon thinking you're okay, and then a boss fight comes and you're totally screwed.
So this is going to be an odd one. It was playing Monument Valley. So the end of Monument Valley, you're looking at this destroyed civilization, and you've solved all these puzzles, and you've gotten to the end, and you're just trying to remember people who have died, and the music is gorgeous, and I was just satisfied, but also just bleh.
My saddest moment was definitely when Aerith died in Final Fantasy VII. I think that was heartbreaking for everybody, just seeing all of a sudden the sword goes right through, and that's your healer. And if you had equipment on that person, it was just absolutely heartbreaking.
Are you prepared for the remakes version of that?
Yes, and I was very lucky to have actually gotten to play the remake at the booth. We were both, me and my girlfriend, lucked out and got the last 2 tickets to it the other day. And it's actually really good, even considering all the changes and stuff that they were making.
So what was your saddest moment playing a video game?
Okay, full spoilers. In Final Fantasy 15, when Noctis wakes up and Ignis is in the room, and this was following another big character death, but honestly the thing that hit me hardest was when Ignis turns around and his face is scarred. in Noctis sees that like he's been injured, and seeing how the rest of Ignis's entire arc with that. Honestly, Ignis is my answer.
I think my saddest moment was probably playing Persona 3. It's one of my favorite video games, and like there's a part where like Shinji, my favorite character, he dies. So I was like really sad. I kept crying during that scene because he's my favorite character.
Was it unexpected, or were you spoilered ahead of time?
He was already a little bit sickly, so I kind of figured. So I kind of knew it was coming, but then I got really sad. But you can save him in the PSP version if you date him.
My saddest moment was the final boss of Undertale when you play the pacifist route. Just like hearing the music pick up as you're walking down the hallway and realizing what's happening.
The saddest moment playing a video game is probably not having any players to play with, because I think that's when it's most fun. It's when you have a whole family of players along. And I'm not just talking about like online players. I'm talking like old-fashioned, like people like at a table playing the game, just what's up, and just smash y'all.
Through the intro of The Last of Us, when Joel's daughter dies, I bawled. It was so sad. And there are a bunch of other moments that have made me cry in gaming too, but that's one of the more recent ones. It got me real good.
And what was your saddest moment?
So I'm a crybaby, so I cry all the time in games, but I'll give you a hint. I was like this. And I was screaming.
I think it's gotta just be the end of the game when you're done playing.
Of all the games?
Yeah, any story-driven game, it's the end.
Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what your saddest moment playing a video game was. This is Chocobobutt signing off for Nerd Caliber.